Hi and welcome. I'm Susan Blaine. I'm here with Bruce Firestone. I'm really thrilled to have you participate here in this
I'm
video.
super happy to be here, Susan.
Thank you. Bruce M. Firestone, he's a real estate investment and business coach now, but he was the founder of the Ottawa Senators, and brucemfirestone.com is his website. But you knew very early on, at age 3, Bruce wanted to be an engineer. His first job was a surveyor. He couldn't get a job, though, when he graduated because he graduated earlier. And in Canada, the legal age was 21.
That's
in
right.
Australia, it was 18, so you immigrated to Australia. Hi, welcome to Sharing with Susan B, telling stories from the heart. We're looking to inspire, telling stories of struggle, vulnerability, and lessons learned. You got your PhD in urban economics from the Australian National University in Canberra.
Right.
Then you got a Master's of Engineering Science from the University of New South Wales in Sydney.
In Sydney, yeah.
And then you got a civil engineering degree from McGill University in Montreal.
That was the first one.
That was the first one. And then real estate broker course and license just recently.
Yeah, fairly recently, yeah.
You're also the founder of the Ottawa Business News, which is now the Ottawa Business Journal, which I spent quite a few years.
Yes, we know each other.
That's where we met.
Yes.
And you also started the Bootstraps Awards back then too, which is somewhere
One
else.
of my former students showed up at a coaching session she had her old boot. So I don't know what she won for, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, and that was a great program. A
It
lot
was.
of great things came out
of
of that. Professor at Carleton University
Right.
at the Israeli School of Architecture and Urbanism.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is. Professor also at Sprott School of Business, Telfer School of Management, University of Ottawa Faculty of Engineering.
Did a little work there, yeah.
Hyper Island in Stockholm, you were a
Right.
professor. So what are you really passionate about these days?
Well, when I was getting ready to retire from the University of Ottawa, from the Telfer School of Management, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I did know my dad had said before he had passed away, Susan, that in his opinion, people should never retire. Actually, when I was getting ready to retire, I reached out myself for some coaching from a life coach, and her thing was helping you find your why. You know, Mark Twain said the 2 most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. And there I was at 61, wanting to make a contribution. And after, a few weeks of coaching where she was coaching me, it became clear to me that I think I could do something with real estate investment and business coaching. And frankly, I have about 400 clients now, and I'm having so much fun, it should be illegal.
So you're having more fun now than you did in your previous life?
I think it is really, really gratifying. I'm at the age and stage, I'm 67 now, so I'm at the age and stage in my life where giving back is really important to me. And I have a chance to talk to people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. My oldest client's 90, so the range is incredible, and he's still doing cool things. So I have a chance to maybe guide them in a way that they couldn't do on their own, or at least at a bare minimum, I can advance their program.
And I bet you're learning a lot from them too.
Oh my gosh,
right?
I think I learn almost as much from the people I coach as they do from me, so it's kind of unfair.
And I want to talk about your biggest business struggle.
Yeah. You mentioned you were going to bring that up, unfortunately.
It was in 2000?
It was in the mid-2000s. It's a public story, Susan, so people do know it. The Senators went bankrupt, and they owed me in cash and real estate, some tens of millions of dollars. And when the bankruptcy estate was wound up, when I got a check from the from the trustee, it was for $3,500. So I've never figured out exactly how many .0001 cents on the dollar it was on a lot. And so, at that point, I knew that my life was going to start over again. And
how old were you then?
I was 54, and my wife's younger, and I said to Dawn, she's my life partner and my best friend, I said to her, you're young enough and pretty enough, you could, if you wanted to leave the marriage, this is the time to do it. Because, I felt I had disappointed her and let her down, and I have 5 kids, and let my kids down, and my mother-in-law, who was with us then. And so I say to the people I coach, when bad things happen to good people, you have 3 days. First day you can be mad, and the second day you can be sad. But the third day, get up and get a bit of exercise and go back to work. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I
that?
had to rediscover what I wanted to do, and like I said, I looked for some life coaching and some help from outside. So
Yeah.
I think when people are struggling, and I certainly was, I had a net negative worth. I think I mentioned that too.
Well, and your lifestyle completely changed,
My
right?
gosh, did it ever?
And your kids were teenagers then.
They were
so
in
they
their
were
late
still
teens,
dependent.
early 20s. Yeah, I had a lot of dependents, of course, and I think at one point I think I had 5 jobs, and like 5 full-time jobs,
Wow.
and I worked, I think, pretty much every day for 13 years straight.
So what's been one of your biggest personal struggles?
Well, I think when my wife got sick, I wanted to really change what I was doing, because I was doing some consulting before and doing some international travel, and certainly when I was with the senators, there's a lot of travel involved. And when Dawn had a health setback, I wanted to do something that was very local. And so, and today it's amazing, all these wonderful technological tools. It turns out that the coaching practice, the real estate investment and business coaching practice, can be international without me leaving my home. Zoom or Skype or whatever, you can coach,
for sure.
people all over the world. So it has opened up new doors. But back then, I really wanted something local. And so being a real estate broker and being a real estate investment and business coach let me be home and make a contribution at home.
So the business really kept you away from your family, and that was
Well,
a bit of a
certainly
struggle.
consulting does that, and being involved in NHL hockey. I mean, imagine Brian Murray, who's now no longer with us, but in his 70s, being general manager of the Ottawa Senators, and the amount of travel that involves, and the amount of time away from home, and even as an owner back in the day, I would travel with the team and go to LA and see what was going on, and try and nurture the team.
Yeah. Well, travel away from your family can take its toll, right?
It certainly can. Yeah.
So lessons in terms of we talked about the 3 days,
Yeah.
but something else that I thought was really interesting that
Yeah.
Bruce shared with me was something that you started to adopt when you were kind of rebuilding yourself and working through some of your struggle is yoga. Dawn
Yeah.
introduced you to yoga,
Well,
and
it was a classic story. I hurt my back shoveling snow. I think it was 2006, and I did a little physiotherapy for it. And then Dawn said, "Well, she's been doing yoga since she was a girl," and she said, "Why don't you take yoga?" And I was very ignorant. I said, "Well, that's a girl thing to do, and I didn't know any better." So she took me to one of her classes, and oh my gosh, it was really tough. And it helped me heal. So core strength. Concentration, focus, healing, breathing. And I said to Brian Murray, I said, this might be a good thing for NHL hockey players. And so I think the following year they introduced yoga to the team, and I think it spread throughout the NHL. But that year, 2007, the Sens went to the Stanley Cup final, so I take all the credit.
for introducing them to yoga.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it.
There you go. Thank you.
So give me some advice that you would give to your younger self with all the wisdom that you have now today.
All right. So I actually learned this from Peter Patafi, he's a local business person, and he came to one of my classes, and he said that your number one priority should be to take care of your business, so that your business would take care of your family, so your family would take care of you, so you could take care of your fellow human being, and your fellow human being can take care of your business, kind of in a cycle.
Okay.
And one of my young students, she put up her hand and said, Mr. Patafi, surely you've made a mistake. Surely it should be number one, take care of yourself and your family, and number two, take care of your business. And he said, Miss, do you know what the number one cause of divorce is? And she said, well, you fall out of love with him or her. And he said, no, it's financial stress. And he said, so I really think if you're going to take care of your family, take care of your business so it can take care of your family, and your family can take care of you. So he that was his view, and I think that made sense to me. And so in my real estate investment and business coaching practice, what I do is I try and help people establish a high-performing real estate portfolio that will take care of themselves and their families for 3 generations, and own a personal business for life, one that will not disappear on you. Because everyone knows that with technology and other things that are going on in our market, we're heading towards a gig economy. Everyone will be a gigpreneur. I don't know if that's a word, but I think it is. It is now anyway. And so I think you have to have a personal business for life, and you do need some real estate investment, even if it's just owning your own home.
Okay, so that's some advice that is helpful for...
Yeah, and the other thing I would probably say, and this is very self-serving, is at one point we had a a business with the original parent company of the centers. We had a business called Presidential Executive Travel Apartments, and we had 28 travel apartments that we would rent out to busy executives visiting Ottawa. And if I were mentioning something to the 39-year-old Bruce Firestone, it would have been to put those units in the name of your spouse, so that if everything else goes to heck in a handbasket, you have something to fall
So
back
that's
on.
some good business advice.
So yeah, to have some kind of an iron reserve. My dad called it an iron reserve.
Yeah, that's good advice. How about some rapid fire fun questions?
Sure.
People can learn
Okay,
a
I'll see
little
what I
bit
can
more
do.
about you. Who's your favorite superhero?
A little fellow by the name of Inky. And you
Inky.
will never have heard about him. I wrote a story for my two grandsons called The Tale of Inky and Pinky. And Inky is a superhero. He's about 10 or 11 years of age, and he has a superpower. And I was looking for a superpower that no one else had, and his superpower is he can make people happy.
Favorite food indulgence?
I don't know what I would say, but probably I'd go back to my Australia days. I used to go to a local shop and I'd get a prawn sandwich, probably very unhealthy, white bread, mayonnaise, prawns, shrimp. They're called shrimp in Canada.
Yes.
So a shrimp sandwich.
A shrimp sandwich.
And that I loved.
Someone you admire?
I think that would be probably Dr. Mohammed Yunus. He is the founder of Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, and it's the only bank in the world that lends people to money who need it.
Oh, I like that.
Other banks, as you know, certainly banks in Canada, lend money to people who don't need it.
Yeah, who can afford
And
it?
he won the Nobel Peace Prize too, I might
Wow.
say. Yeah.
Something that not too many people know about you.
Well, probably that I write learning outcome novels. It might even be a genre that I discovered, so that they're supposed to be entertaining, but they're also supposed to teach you something.
Nice, of course, as professor that
Prof.
you are.
Bruce, yeah.
What's something that always makes you smile, Bruce?
Well, I probably shouldn't admit it, but it's talking heads who are incredibly pompous. So when I see, whether it might be a politician or it might be, an anchor on a newscast where they're talking about things that they really don't know anything about,
Okay.
I always laugh. I mean, it is, at least to me.
What's your definition of success in one sentence?
Well, it's what I said earlier. It's finding your why. And I think if you find your why, you find your place in life, the level of satisfaction you have and confidence you have just skyrockets. So I think find your why.
Find your why. Bruce Firestone, thank you so much. BruceMFirestone.com is his website. He's on LinkedIn, Twitter, Tumblr, and you can check him out. Check out what he's doing. Thank you so much for participating in today. Give me a high five.
Thank you, Susan.